What's up, guys? Welcome back to Stalker Gamma 0.9.1, I believe. Pretty big update that they dropped, and they added so many things. There's a huge changelog. We're gonna run through all of that today. I'll show you all the things that stood out to me, what I found to be kind of the most important changes that they did. There's a ton of good stuff here. Frames are kind of bad, but you know, after you update the game, it does kind of change up some settings. So I am gonna have to do some optimization again to get my frame rate back to above 60 consistently. Hopefully, we'll see if we can do that. But oh yeah, so look at this. So now you see some damaged guns here. So at a glance, though, it's nice. At a glance, you could see, like, if there's a green dot, it's like, oh, there's a good part on that gun. You don't have to like sit here and wait for the menu to come up and then read through it. It's all very simple. Got some new ammo wheels to switch your ammo types. So those are cool. Good to see. There's one new one for the companion. Well, actually, I think this looks about the same. But every big update for Gamma and most games, I think in general, it's probably a good idea to start a new save. Obviously, you can play on your old save. Everything's functionally working as it should, but they've made some changes to, I think, how many enemies and stalkers will be just out and about. Since I'm on an old save, most of these spawns are already decided since I've ran through all these areas so many times. But they have made some changes to it, so that's something to look for. I think they made it to where it's a little more dense, a little more lively. The northern region, such as this one, is going to be a lot more dangerous on a new playthrough. You're going to have a lot more ISG monolith patrols, things that want to kill you, more mutants for them to be fighting as well as for you to fight. Overall, going north is going to be a lot more exciting and engaging, dangerous. It's going to really test that skill level, because as you know, if you've played through Anomaly much or Gamma, once you get pretty far into the game and you get all your gear and everything, the game doesn't really pose too much of a challenge after that point. Especially once you get like an exosuit, something like this, and you can do crazy shit like this and just kill everything around you. That is, by the way, the experimental PSU reactor in the Monolith Nosarog exosuit. Gives you some electric abilities there. So that's like some in-game stuff. So if this was a new save, it'd be one, a lot harder to get all this gear, and two, I'd be testing it all the time because there would be way more enemies after me once I'm in these northern areas. Okay, enough of that. So this is the actual changelog. This is everything that they've done for 0.9.1. And there's already been, I think, like 8 hot fixes and like small patches after the fact. So we might run through those, and if you want to see those, they are in the Gamma Discord, as well as the announcements Discord for Gamma in my server, in my own Discord server. So you can see them if you're there, or of course in the official Gamma server as well. So I'm going to run down this list. It's kind of long, so I'm only going to pick out the things that are game changing in my opinion. So let's start with this Souls-like game mode. This is the first one that really caught my eye. So I was like, Souls-like, what does that mean for a game like this? Pretty damn interesting. You can absolutely watch this video from I'll link this in the description as well, so you can look at the changelog yourself. But if you open any of these links in a new tab, it'll take you to the ModDB download, in which you can find more detailed information about the mod if you're interested. But for this one, basically, it makes it to where when you die in game, you are taken back to your last save area, not campfire or just quick save, but wherever you last slept at, is from what I understand. And you wake up at the bed, you're left with a note on your PDA from a stalker that rescued you, and it has kind of a dynamic paragraph or so about what happened and what they had to do to get you back. Sometimes they just maybe had to use some of your meds and drag you back to the bed. Sometimes they had to use your gear. Some of your things might be a little more degraded. You're going to be hungry and thirsty, and all of your gear is going to be left where you died, which is where the Souls starts to make sense, because in Dark Souls you lose your souls, and then you got to go and retrieve them from your place of death. So pretty interesting. I don't know honestly if it's something that I am gonna want to use in my playthrough personally. It's very cool, but it's also gonna make dying like very, very punishing. But I think it's a really great mod, a great idea, and they seem to have executed it pretty well. If you're interested in that, that is going to be in Gamma by default now. And if you want to disable it or customize it, you can always go into the MCM menu in game. I'll just show you. If you go into here, and there's a Souls-like right here, and you have all these options that you can customize, so you can kind of use this. I could honestly still use this and then kind of tone down some of the punishing side of it. It's all based on your level, so if you're low level, you're not going to get punished that hard for dying. Like, your items aren't going to get damaged. You are still going to have to go retrieve them. Basically, once you're high level, it makes dying like really bad. You just don't want to do it. And then I already kind of spoke about this quality of life bundle. This is the one that makes some changes to your inventory. This one right here, this picture right here, this is actually insanely awesome. Now when you sleep, you can see how much sleep you need to get fully rested so that you're not oversleeping or undersleeping on accident. We've also added some markers to identify if you have quest items in your inventory. Auto stacking, I don't know if it's part of this mod or the next one. It might be. Yeah, okay, it's its own mod by Zatura. It's pretty self-explanatory. Items are going to auto stack. If you already have it in your inventory, you pick it up, it's going to get thrown into that stack. And whenever you use items, it's going to automatically use the lowest quality version of that item that you have in your inventory. That way you don't end up with 30 Swiss knives that are all about to break, because that is a pretty common thing. Moving on from that, we've got a lot to cover here, so I'm moving kind of fast. I apologize. Again, this is linked if you want to just look at it for yourself. Personal adjustable waypoint. This is one that makes it to where you can place your own waypoint in game and use it as a marker on your mini map, so you can kind of always know where you're going. If you're trying to go towards something that isn't a mission per se, like maybe you're trying to get to a certain trader or a certain travel point through maps, and you don't want to keep pulling out your PDA and checking where you are like I always do, this will let you mark it. I'll actually just show you. See, maybe I want to go to this important character. I can set a pin and I can say important guy, and okay there. So there's a little red pin now. I can remove it, rename it, show pin on HUD, set waypoint, and oh, well, this is because I have debug on. You shouldn't be able to fast travel here. So I can set waypoint there. And now on my mini map down on the bottom right, the little red arrow is pointing toward that objective. I don't have to pull out my map again. I know that's where I'm going. So actually pretty useful, especially for people that like to stay in game and not in this screen right here. Oh, you can also show it on HUD. That's crazy. I probably won't use this personally because it's a little bit immersion breaking, but it is cool to see 3D markers. Yeah, I think if they got rid of the red thumb pin and made it a I don't know, something that kind of fit with the vibe a little bit better, that might actually be cool, but not for me, to be honest. And then you can remove it just like that. Very simple. All right, semi-radiant AI is the next one I want to look at. Basically what it does is makes it to where your NPCs have a lot more routes, patrol routes, things they do sort of just in their own day-to-day life. Less NPCs sitting at campfire, because that is what they all do. You're going to have NPCs more logically placed around areas, so they're going to be guarding your entrances, your exits. They're going to be looking more like guards, and they're going to be patrolling. There'll be some idling, of course, but it'll be a little bit more immersive than just seeing everybody sit around a campfire, as fun as that can be. So, cool mod. Next, we do have some new, they've added some new models for the mutated cats, fleshes, and boars. Reanimated the torch, reanimations for all these guns, and remodels, and just those are all good. Cool to see. I'm not going to show all these off. New hideout furniture. This is a pretty cool one for me. I love the hideout system in Gamma. I think, do I have tools on me? I do. Let's open workshop just so I can show you guys. Okay, so now we have pistol display shelf, and pretty easy to make, as well as a gun display rack. I should honestly probably make one of these. Let me go and do that. Okay, so this actually has to set on something. Let me where am I gonna put this? I can set it up here. Oh, and there's even a new menu in the top left that tells you the controls to be able to... Nice. There we go. Okay, I spun it around. I did not know you could do this. There we go. All right, I did it. Cool. So now, if I throw this pistol on here, can I throw that on there? No. So only pistols, I believe. Turn a light on so you can see. Now you got the pistol. It's a tiny bit floaty, but like, you know, if you place this in a good spot, it would look pretty good. So you could line this up with pistols. I think I have a ton, so let's just put that and that. Put the deagle on there. There we go. Yeah, that is honestly sick. All right, so this is one. Same idea, but for rifles. And wow, that looks good. That fit in perfectly. Search the stash. Let's throw the shotgun in there. Yeah, dude. That's really cool. So like you can really put on display all your favorite guns, which is a hell of a lot cooler than just having a box full of guns like we all do. Now we're moving on to the actual like changes to Gamma, if that makes sense. These aren't mods, these are more so like bug fixes and just progression changes, gameplay mechanic changes, things like that. First one, this whole section here is all about new stash spawn logic for toolkits and stashes and everything like that. As we all know, 9.0 had a little bit of wonkiness with how you got tools. It was kind of really difficult to get tools. And also, just a side note, for this change to take effect, you do need a pretty new save, because if you're really far in like I am, all the stashes are already spawned for the most part. You probably don't really need tools at this point, but like this is more for like new saves. But it is good changes. So now your green stashes are the main source of tools. White stashes don't really have tools, but they do have your other drug kits, gunsmith kits. You can read all that if you want, but good changes there. Exo repair kits are now a drop-only item. This is one to pay attention to if you are starting a new save. You can no longer buy your Exo kits through a mechanic. It's drop-only. I'm assuming you could still craft one. Granted, you had all the items, but for the most part, you're just going to have to be getting them from master rank stalkers as a loot drop. Moving on for that, you can read through all this again if you want. Just pause. I'm not going to go through everything. There's some this is kind of what I was talking about earlier, repopulations for the northern areas and the stalkers that patrol that area. Here's a good one. Sin members rarely have rocket launchers, so that'll be fun. Can't wait to get blown up out of nowhere. Changes to the mutant populations and the psi system rework. This is the one that I wanted to touch up on. This one makes it to where psi damage to me always felt a little weird. You never really knew when you were taking psi health unless you were looking at that HUD in the bottom left. But now you actually get a blurred vision and a heartbeat sound effect whenever you start taking that damage, so you know immediately that you are taking psi damage and you can react to that situation and get out of the area or whatever you need to do. They also with this made changes to psi resistant consumables. Instead of just being a resistance, they also restore psi health much faster than before. Really good change, because I always felt like, what's the point in taking psi resistance? I always wanted something that would just replenish it. So now we have that. It says something about a jumper giant. I don't know what that is. Kind of scary. I don't know if it's just another name for a pseudo giant, but if one of those things is jumping around, that gives me the chills just thinking about it. And they also got rid of the alpha bloodsucker, the big ones with the red spikes, because of terrible model. Apparently some people didn't like that, so they got rid of it. I didn't have a problem with it, but you know, whatever. I'm gonna skip down a bit. There's some dynamic task changes and things that are kind of quality of life, your payment improvements for, you know, busy work, new task types, things like that. You can check all these out if you want. But I'm going to move down to improved AI responsiveness. This one right here is honestly, this one right here just made me crack a smile as soon as I read it. It's so much, it sounds so good, and I haven't really been able to see exactly how well it's implemented or how much of an effect, you know, if it's noticeable or not, but just reading this sounds amazing. So NPCs are much more reactive when being shot at or shot around. They will try to seek a cover compared to where they think they got shot from. So basically, to reword this, now when you shoot at an enemy, they're going to act more like a human being, and they're going to be like, oh shit, and they're going to run for cover, and instead of just, you know, aimbotting you from 50 meters away, which it just makes a lot more sense. It's going to make the NPCs and the enemy stalkers feel a lot more human and alive, and I really hope that this is as good as it sounds. Also, this is going to, I think, affect stealthing a little bit, but it's also going to do it in a good way and make it a bit less wonky feeling. So now if an NPC gets shot, you shoot an enemy, the whole squad associated with that stalker is going to be alerted, and they're going to try to figure out who just shot their buddy. So it's going to make stealth harder, but it's also going to make it much more realistic. Good change in my opinion. WPL hit effects fixes and reduced aim punch. I really hope that they have once and for all fixed the sound bug that I know others have been experiencing with this mod, because if you disable the mod, Gamma doesn't really work properly. But with it on in the past, I've had excruciating trouble with the game sound just completely bugging out every time I get shot or take damage from anything. So it's super unfortunate, and I really hope that it's actually fixed this time around. Base aim shake, especially with scopes, has been increased, so sniping should be a bit harder. Let's actually, I got a sniper in here, don't I? I am 700 here. Or R700? What is it? Remington 700, so R, I guess, yeah. Okay, so, let me zoom in here. Yes. That is lovely. So as you can see, I'm not moving my mouse. This is just natural sway from holding a rifle and aiming it. We're not robots out here. We can't hold things still. Crouching doesn't seem to make much of a difference. It doesn't seem to matter if you're standing or crouched. It's about the same. So that's fine with me. Obviously at close range this doesn't matter, but at long range you're going to really have to be careful and pick those shots because you're going to have some sway. So sniping will be a little bit more challenging, but to me it feels more rewarding when you actually gotta, be patient and look for that perfect shot. Guns should jam less if they're in high condition. Duh. What's next? NPC armor. Okay, yeah, this one's another kind of a big change, honestly. I don't know how much it'll change in reality when you're playing the game, but on paper this seems like a big change to me. NPC's damage area basically has been split into 3 parts instead of 4. So now you just have legs, body, and arms, and head and neck. So you just have 3 areas, which is gonna, I think, help balance the gun damage and things like that a lot better. So instead of, shooting someone 20 times and them not dying, it's probably because you're just shooting them in the arms. Now that shouldn't really happen. It'll kind of act the same as if you're just hitting body shots. And then once a body part is defeated or that limb is completely gone, full damage is dealt just to the NPC's overall health. So like once you black out a limb, if any of you Tarkov players are in there, you'll kind of know what that means. It'll work similarly to that with those with Tarkov's damage models, which is kind of what Gamma's seems to be kind of going for here. And then they've obviously rebalanced the ammo types and the damages they do, how they kind of affect enemies as far as staggering, concussion damage, AP damage. If you hit someone in the head, eyes, jaw, neck, you're going to get a pretty good damage boost. So it's going to make the gunplay feel a bit more realistic, and maybe the enemies will be a little bit less bullet spongy, depending on, but you still got to, of course, use the right ammo type, depending on the enemy you're fighting. We're almost to the end here. We just have a couple more things. They rebalanced some guns. You can read through these if you see anything about a gun that you're specifically curious about. Got a bunch of balance changes. These are all great. Okay, so I'm gonna need to set the. Can I do this through here? How do I change the time? Can I change the time through this? All right. Let me just sleep. We're just gonna sleep right here. Oh yes, cool. Okay, so now I get a chance to show this off in real time. So this is basically how rested I'm gonna be. So if I only sleep until here, it's gonna be not super rested, I guess. Damn, you telling me I gotta sleep for that long? That's crazy. Well, I'm gonna sleep till, we just need to get towards nighttime, so let's do like midnight. Sounds good. Sleep. Oh Jesus, what the? Am I dead? Hold on. I should have turned on God mode. So I'm pretty sure an emission hit. Being asleep does not save you from emissions if you're outside on the floor. Noted. Okay. Alright, let's take some sleepy pills again. Oh my god. Okay, let's sleep through, there we go. Oh, that was 9 hours. Whoa! What the? Why am I dying? I actually think this is related to the mission I'm on. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I'm in the middle of chasing down Chernobog, and I decided that was a good time to do this update video, so I guess that's on me. Oh, son of a bitch. Alright, well, let me just load save again. Okay, so that's not gonna work. Let me just go inside and see if maybe it'll be dark enough in here. Basically, they made some changes to the night vision. Oh, goodness. All right, to where the idea was to make it to where you no longer need to have a flashlight as well as night vision enabled at the same time. They made some changes to kind of the lighting effects, and if I were to turn this bright, sorry for blinding you, but as you can see, it gets very, very bright. And so pretty good change. No longer gonna have to be running around with a flashlight on and the night vision on, because I myself had to do that quite a bit. Good change there. Beard approves. All vice, this is one that might pique your interest. All vices are free by default. All of the mechanic workbenches And not only that, so like, see, I can, see, I don't have to buy it. I can just use this dude's workshop. They're all free by default, given that you're friendly. It's a friendly faction. And if you give one of these dudes I think I've already given them all the tools. If you give these guys basic tools, advanced tools, you know, they always want those. Whenever you use their vice, they will be included. I just died again. Bro. Okay. Something is horribly wrong. Oh my god. Okay, so basically, okay, I think the mission I'm on, I'm not supposed to leave the area until I like continue the mission. So that works out though, because we're at the end of the changelog here. There's kind of just some minor bug fixes. Links in the description. I do believe I'll be starting a new series. I kind of want to start a new game. You guys tell me in the comments. I kind of want to do a new game on Gamma. Maybe pick a different faction, maybe ISG or something, and just check out all the new changes, because right now it's fresh, it's hot, and it's fun. So we're going to probably get into that. So you guys tell me in the comments what you want to see. I hope this video kind of helped you understand what's new with 9.1, and if, you know, maybe if you're considering playing Gamma for the first time or returning to it, now you have a reason to. So while I figure out what's going on with this save here, I think I'm gonna have to load back a few hours, but be sure to leave a like on this video if this helped you out at all, and subscribe if you're new. I know I haven't been uploading lately, just had a lot going on. I got a new job, just all kinds of stuff, but I have not forgotten about you. You guys are awesome. Thank you for keeping up the support, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in.